process for dividing square roots is actually almost the same as multiplying square roots. The steps are the same, except instead of multiplying, you're dividing. You begin by dividing the numbers on the outsides, the coefficients. Then you divide the numbers on the insides, the radicands. Once you've done that, you end by simplifying your final answer. So really, that sounds quite familiar. Let's take a look at a couple of examples, and I'll show you how it's done. On our first example, we have 8 square roots of 48 divided by 4 square roots of 2. First thing we do is divide the coefficients. 8 divided by 4 is 2. The second thing we do is divide the radicands. 48 divided by 2 is 24. So we have 2 times the square root of 24. Now we're already on step 3, where we just simplify the final answer. We look at our list of perfect squares. 24 would be right there if it were a perfect square, but it's not. And I'll go down the list from biggest to smallest to find the largest perfect square. That goes in the 24. 16 does not, 9 does not, but 4 does. 4 times 6. And so I'll replace the square root of 24 with the square root of 4 and the square root of 6. We know that the square root of 4 is 2, so we simplify that square root of 4 right down to a 2. The square root of 6 doesn't simplify, so we have 2 times 2 square roots of 6. Don't forget that 2 that was out front, the coefficient, that needs to come down with us. Sometimes it's very easy to lose that as you're working through a problem. 2 times 2 is 4. We have 4 square roots of 6. So the quotient, the result from dividing these two numbers, is 4 square roots of 6. Let's look at another example. The next example, we have 12 square roots of 20 divided by negative 3 square roots of 5. And once again, we begin by dividing the coefficients, the outside numbers. 12 divided by negative 3 is negative 4. Now we divide the radicands. 20 divided by 5 is 4. So we have negative 4 square roots of 4. The final step is to simplify the square root. Well, this is already a perfect square. The square root of 4 is 2. So we have negative 4 times 2, negative 8. The result, the quotient, is negative 8. So when I divide these two numbers, that's what I simplify to. Remember, you can check by putting these into your calculator. If you type this in, it should come out to be negative 8. On our next example, they want us to divide negative 21 square roots of 40 by the square root of 5. As always, remember, if there's no number out in front, it's automatically a 1. Negative 21 divided by 1 is negative 21. 40 divided by 5 is 8. That was step 1 and 2. Now, finally, I need to simplify my radical. Square root of 8. Let's see where that would fall on the list. It would be right here, but it's not there. So I'll go down from biggest to smallest to find out what goes into 8 evenly. 4 and 2. Square root of 4, square root of 2. Square root of 2 is simply 2. Square root of 2 does not simplify. So I have negative 21 times 2, negative 42, square roots of 2. Finally, on our last example for today, we have 55 square roots of 72 divided by negative 11 square roots of 2. Again, divide the outside, divide the inside, and simplify. 55 divided by negative 11 is negative 5. 72 divided by 2, square root of 36. Square root of 36 is simply 6, so I have negative 5 times 6. Negative 5 times 6 is 30. Sometimes they work out very nicely like that, and you end up with an integer for an answer. Sometimes you're left with a square root, and you just have to simplify the square root and deal with the radical in the answer. Now, the next page in your packet is blank. I'm going to give you an example that I'd like for you to try. Please copy this down. 54 square roots of 96 divided by 9 square roots of 2. Please pause the video here and give this problem a try. let's take a look at the answer. We divide the outsides, the coefficients, 54 divided by 9 gives me 6. The radicands, 96 divided by 2, is 48. And now I'll search for the largest perfect square that goes evenly into 48. 36 does not, 25 does not, but 16 does. 16 goes in 3 times. So I'll switch this out for a 16 and a 3. Square root of 16 is 4. Square root of 3 does not simplify, so I have 6 times 4, 24 square roots of 3. That's how you divide square roots.